minutes to join. Hey Brandon, so it looks like Alex has not read any of my messages since we set up everything with Zoom. So, and I know you've got to leave by a certain time. So if you want, I think the best thing to do might just be to record mine and your reactions to the prompts and responses, and then I can just like chop them up and edit them and submit them later on today. Okay, I'm also sharing my screen right now, so I've got the prompt pulled up if that makes it easier for you. But I guess what we'll do is we can just start with the introduction. Just, I guess, like kind of pretend that we're in a group right now, and I'll edit it together later. How to do this? Okay. I guess I'll get us started, and then you can kind of just do the same thing after. All right. Hi, this is Riley Duggins. We are going to be going over our responses for the TikTok story prompts that we had and figuring out what we thought was the strongest within our group and what we thought really worked. I guess you can introduce yourself now.
Okay. My name is Brandon, and I'm also participating in talking about the TikTok series that we did as a class.
Okay, great. Let's see. It's like one TikTok series for each category below. This person genuinely experienced the thing they decided to do. Okay, let me see.
Do you have someone in mind, or
If you got someone in mind and want to go ahead, that's fine.
okay? So on mine, I actually put down two people.
Mhm.
So for the two people that I think genuinely experienced the thing that they decided to do was Sarah and Yonu. So
I'm gonna let Sebastian in real quick, and then we can continue.
okay,
Hey, Sebastian.
Hello?
Hi. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So I'm not sure if, funny enough, Alex will be able to make it because they just haven't really been responding. So what we're gonna do, since Brandon has to leave a little earlier, is go ahead and record all of our responses and have him prioritized. And then I'll just download the file and kind of edit it together and submit it before 2 o'clock.
Gotcha.
All right, Brandon, sorry, go ahead.
okay. So I was just saying that I think Sarah and Yanu were two of the people that I thought really experienced what they were doing in their TikTok series. So Sarah was doing her martial arts practice.
Yes.
I'm not specifically sure. I think it was like, I want to say Taekwondo, but I think that's wrong. But I think she really experienced it
right.
because she was
Let's talk
she was actually, practicing, going outside and physically showing the audience how to do these moves and how to protect yourself when in danger. And I thought that was really
Yeah, I
interesting
have to agree.
because I never done like any of that. I've done like karate, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely sure it's like two different things.
Right. Yeah, that was something I know she's talked about it in class before, but I would have never thought that Sarah would be involved with martial arts. So it's really cool to kind of see that side of her and also see that it's like clearly something that she's got, years of practice and genuine investment in. So I think it was a really smart move for her to choose that as the core interest for her TikTok series because it was things that she was already practicing, exercises that she already needed to kind of continue practicing in order to stay ready for teaching her classes and everything. So I thought that was a really smart move on her end.
Mhm.
And Ilana, yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that as well. I had no idea that she was learning Korean, and I think that she implemented really creative ways to show us how to learn Korean. Like she didn't just, um, go over like the basics of the language. She also had it to where she had prompts for the viewers. So like we're learning along with her, and she kind of created challenges for the viewers to go through to keep them interacted and engaged, which I thought was really great. I know that the last TikTok that she made where she reenacted the K drama with her roommate was really great because it really had not a whole lot to do with learning Korean, but just sort of like being invested in the culture itself, which is nice. Like it's cool to. She could have had that as like a very clinical teaching space, but she was able to keep the audience engaged by like having more casual videos like that.
Yeah, I agree. That last video makes you want to watch what she do if she does it again.
Right. Sebastian, who did you have anything to say about Iana Sarah's series, or did you have like two other favorites, or not two, but just another favorite that you thought uh, did a really good job experiencing the thing that they wanted to do?
Concerning the project, I'd probably say Natalie did the best. Did one of the best.
Mhm.
because hers was, I would say, definitely exact. I don't want to say exactly because everyone was pretty unique and followed what they were supposed to.
Mhm.
But how she did her TikToks was, it seemed like something that, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about how she was able to take things, she was able to take a certain prompt and then just try and have fun with this and then also try to be as consistent as possible with it.
Right. Um, yeah, hers were interesting because I really don't follow a whole lot of influencers whose main interest is like working out or fitness in general. So it was cool to see that in practice, and it really felt like she was because I know she said she didn't have a whole lot of experience with TikTok, but she did do a really good job kind of emulating that influencer uh, vibe in general. So I think she
Another,
did. She had a decent amount of views on her videos too. So I think she was able to work the algorithm well.
I think another thing that added towards this was also that there was a there was a helpful there was benefits towards this. So like she put in
Right.
like how like this certain workout, even though it's fun, it does this for your body and stuff like that. I
Mm.
like that.
One thing, one of the artists that stuck out to me in the group was actually Addison's. And I mean, that might be kind of biased because, visual art is what I'm really interested in, and design especially. So I really enjoyed seeing their character design gauntlet and seeing how, as the days progressed, they added an extra challenge to each prompt, which was really interesting. It was cool to see like how my interpretation of the words that they chose uh, could be like vastly different from Addison's. And so that was one that stuck out to me pretty well. I liked how they reviewed the prompt and then updated editing like all of the different words and like the timing of the video itself. It would be cool to see, I think, a series with that where they did maybe like speed drawings of the same exact kind of thing. But that's something I've considered before, so that really stuck out to me as something like they obviously enjoy doing. Okay, yeah. What about the person that you guys think best connected with their audience? Who stuck out to you?
I thought it was Natalie
Hmm.
because, like Sebastian mentioned, she had all these benefits and she was finding different ways to exercise. That way, it didn't necessarily think that you had to go to the gym. And I honestly was like intrigued by that because usually when I think of exercise and workouts, it's like physically going to the gym, lifting weights, or like running on a treadmill, but you could literally do like everyday activities and get the exact same benefits, which I think she did really nice.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. The only thing I would recommend is I noticed that Natalie didn't have a ton of hashtags like having to do anything with fitness or like, so I feel like she definitely could have expanded, like pushed that even a little bit further, um,
Mm.
because hashtags are really important for playing the algorithm right, with TikTok especially. But yeah, I mean, you could tell that she enjoyed doing what she does and was able to kind of create a connection with the audience that she wanted to.
Mhm.
So for me, I actually have an argument towards this.
Sure.
I would say one of I would say one of the people that definitely connected with their audience would actually be you, Riley,
Mm,
and how everything like it how you did your post. It wasn't there was a little bit of interest and fun towards it, but it was all about trying to inform people that didn't know
mm,
about about these illnesses and what you have to go through, and then also trying to help those that do go through what you're going through.
Right. I'm glad to hear that, honestly, because that is exactly what I was going for. I mentioned it during class, but there have been a ton of TikToks that I've seen directed towards me on my For You page from people who are chronically ill. And how it knows that, I don't know, but I'm glad that I was able to see those videos because they have actually taught me a ton about like how to deal with my own issues and how to like cope with stuff, whether it be like just day-to-day management of symptoms, or how to talk to your doctors, or like stuff with insurance, sorting all that kind of thing out, all those sorts of things out. So I'm glad to hear that that kind of like was clearly resonated, that connection aspect.
Yeah.
Let's see. I would have to say, for me, Sarah, I feel like connected really well with her audience. I really liked how she did the voiceover technique where she did all of the moves. And I know we talked about this briefly with the pass prompt, but she was genuinely like showing people her experience and like her training progress, while also genuinely connecting with the audience in a way where she like taught us a little bit about the history and the culture behind it, which I thought was really interesting, because I know a lot of people will get into that and get into martial arts because of the physical aspect or the protection aspect, which she definitely did go over, but she was able to teach us a bit more about the history, which I didn't know a whole lot about, and what actually makes martial arts like an art form. So I thought that was really effective. Okay, I think we've all gone over that prompt. So who do you guys feel really got to experiment with their series?
It's interesting to add Natalie again, but I actually want to put Addison for this part. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm eating. The idea of using the gauntlet and trying to use your creativity by just using a prompt, I like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I mean, there's a ton of different directions she could have taken that. But it's fun getting to see, like, I remember, like, as a visual artist, I was trying to figure out what to do with this series, and I was really struggling with it because of the idea that I had to like create content every single day was a big hurdle for me to cross, and was primarily one of the reasons why I didn't get really started on my project until the literal last minute. But I mean, with that kind of prompt, you really have to dedicate yourself to that. And so I was really impressed because like I tried to do something like that and just utterly failed. So yeah, I would agree. For me also, one person I felt really experimented was Maybelline. I really enjoyed her collage series. I thought they were really visually effective. And I enjoy how I remember I actually had a meeting with her and Lee whenever we were first discussing our ideas for our series. And I knew that she said she wanted to do collages, and I didn't really know what to expect. But it was cool seeing how she opened up this book at the beginning and kind of like loosely put together all of these different collages. Like she never dedicated one piece totally with like gluing them down or anything. And then as she got more confident with it, like as the series got towards the end, she actually did start doing that, which I was like, okay, we're obviously like seeing some growth and seeing some confidence with this. And I know she said she didn't like some of the compositions, but honestly, all of them were really solid. They really stuck out to me. What about you, Brandon? Who did you think, or did you already say who you thought really experimented?
No, I have not. Let me see. The person that I think really experimented was, well, I just want to say that I technically think that everybody really experimented
Right.
with their TikToks, because as someone like me who hasn't really done TikTok before, Like I was just like messing around with all the editing and all the things that I could do. And I know there was much more that could have been done than what I have shown,
Mhm.
but I feel like in watching everybody's videos, there was always some kind of change or some kind of difference. And
Right.
that's what I thought was fermenting. But if I had to say a specific person, I would say Sophia,
Mm.
because I remember I was in a meeting with her as well, and we were talking about how she wanted to do her TikToks about her doing art, but like specifically on her own, because she said that doing things on her own makes her more productive. And the first few videos, it was just her like drawing or like what she would do during the day, like her day off because she also had to work. And then we saw, like once she got to her like sixth or seventh post, she started doing like tattoo designs. And I feel like she was really trying to figure out what she wanted to do, but still related to how she really liked to do art, specifically by herself.
Mhm. Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get to see a whole lot of Sophia's posts. I think she might have to update her privacy settings because I only see a handful here that she showed for the critique, but for sure I totally see that. It was cool to see people using visual art for like tattoo designs as well because um, you don't get to see a whole lot of that from people who are in our program.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay. What was a series that you thought was a really cool concept and just like innovative, or I guess, necessarily different from being experimental? I don't know. I feel like we kind of already covered that pretty consistently with the last one, but I guess just another series that you guys appreciated.
Um, I liked Maureen's. I hope I'm saying her name right. I'm terrible with names.
Mhm.
Um, but I loved her clothing TikTok posts
Oh yeah,
and how those worked out.
yeah. Those were her series was also one of my favorites. Just like all of the outfits were really solid. The videos were well composed. The editing was tight. I feel like all the sounds that she used and the trends that she implemented worked really well for TikTok as a platform. So it was interesting to see how everything came together.
I agree, because I remember seeing one of her posts where she would take her cosplay and make it more modern.
Mhm.
And I thought that was pretty innovative of her because her cosplay was already in itself kind of like innovative, and then she just took it a step further
Mhm.
and like changed it a bit, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, there's a ton of research and like preparation that you have to do for cosplays or just like outfit planning in general. So I was also really impressed that she was able to, like consistently stick with a plan and do one a day. Um, I do wish that she used some more hashtags as well. Like same suggestion I had for Natalie, just because like these are genuinely very good TikToks. Like these are TikToks I would see on my For You page or see being successful, but there's not a whole lot of interaction happening because of like the lack of play on the algorithm. So even if it's like you don't even have to type, like you don't even have to use the hashtags necessarily. Like I would recommend cosplay, fashion, that kind of thing. But even just the fandoms that she's cosplaying from, like using those and the tags, uh, could definitely reach out to a few more folks. But I was surprised to see that she didn't really use TikTok before, because it seems like what she does works really well with the platform.
Yeah, I didn't know she didn't do it before. It seemed like she knew what she was doing
Yeah, for
with all the
sure.
editing and stuff.
Let's see. Because of how small the class is, it's kind of difficult to not overlap who we thought did the best in certain categories. Let's see. Because I know I've talked about concepts. Yeah, I guess Maureen would be my answer for that one as well. Let's see. And then just talk openly about a few TikTok series that didn't make the list above, but you appreciated and why.
Talking about Maureen for concept and innovation or TikTok series.
If you wanted to keep talking about the concepts and the animated series, go right ahead.
Oh no, I'm just making sure where we are.
Yeah. Because we were at Same Gap for a bit. Just kind of hard to like remember who all we've already talked about. Let's see. It would have been kind of interesting to see. I always think this about every project that happens, but it would be kind of interesting to see what Lee would have done if he was doing a post every day along with us, especially considering the stuff that he used to do. Let's see. So I guess one thing we can talk about, just kind of off script here, is what was y'all's thought process and planning process behind your TikTok series, and did it go about as well as you guys thought it would, or were there some challenges that you kind of had to overcome? Excuse me.
My TikTok series was it was very, the whole concept for the whole thing was pretty complex because the whole idea was I was going to use my Launchpad to make different beats and then just post what I made and maybe put in like something interesting and sync them, and those would be my posts. But then I have to think I have to do this every day, and then that's like
Right.
that's at least like 3 hours worth of work for me to be trying to do on top of everything that I do.
Right, because I
every
remember you
day.
mentioned, was it you that mentioned you also have work outside of class and everything?
hmm
Yeah, I do too.
So when so in the end, I ended up trying to do something that did appeal to my to the concept,
mhm.
but it wasn't what I wanted, and I guess that's why I kind of feel like I didn't do the best. Could have done better, I'd say.
Yeah, I think a huge part of the challenge was definitely having to make a post every single day, and having to figure out how to make it about something that you're interested in while still making it unique with each post. Um, I know for me, I'm overall not very satisfied with how my TikTok series came out. It wasn't what I planned at all, but I was sick the first week that we were doing these. And so I was just like not in a good place to go ahead and get started. And originally, I met up with Lee and we talked about, I met with Lee and Maybelline and we discussed our concepts. After we came back from spring break. And originally, what I wanted to do was actually like kind of a daily comic inspired series where every single day you just did a little comic series about what you did throughout the day, or it's really like mundane and domestic, which is kind of why I appreciate those, because there's not a lot of times that artists get to just make art about their lives in mundane ways. Like we're kind of expected to exaggerate or like I don't know, I guess kind of like a dig deeper than it actually is. But what I appreciated about that genre and what I was kind of going for was the idea that like it would be pretty relaxing and pretty laid back in a sense of art making. Like I could just literally recall what happened that day and sort of use it as like a visual diary. And considering I was already pretty late on getting started in, I think I just kind of became overwhelmed with the whole concept. Because, like I said, during this time, I wasn't in a really good headspace. So I think I just let it get to the best of me. And after talking with Lee, I met with him on a second session, and it was about 5 days before everything was due. And he told me to just, try to make 5 good TikToks and go with it, because he understood the circumstances and, just try to make the best of the situation. I did still kind of struggle getting started though, because I kind of had to redo my entire concept. And so I figured, since my health was a core issue with what was getting me going, like that's something I care about and I'm knowledgeable about, that I can talk about in a good amount of length. So I guess it was after I looked at everybody else's TikToks that they already posted, I realized like, oh yeah, like I don't have to make anything for this. Like I don't have to create content for the series. I can just do something that I enjoy, which is, spreading awareness and talking about um, my illness and connecting with people. So that's just is what I decided to do. I decided to stick to 10 because I felt like they're all pretty in depth. Um, but overall, like if I took the time each day to set aside and spend that whole day conceptualizing and performing and editing down the TikToks, I feel like they could have been a lot tighter. So I'm about in like a pretty similar position as how happy I am with the series.
Okay.
What about you, Brandon?
So I think my idea actually came out the way I wanted it to,
Mhm.
just not the aspect of like visuals or like something that you would generally want to look through.
Mhm.
Because what I was doing was I was basically just recording or like documenting what I was doing. That's a better word. I was documenting what I was doing like basically every day for those 10 days.
Mhm.
And I was trying to see how could I make my walk from the art building to the EUC into a video and also apply the song that I was listening to at that moment in time.
Mhm.
And at first I was starting off, I did a video, but it didn't come out as well as I wanted it to.
Mhm.
And then I moved to pictures, and then those weren't really interesting to look at. And then I went back to videos, and I think um my last like 3 or 2 videos were actually like pretty good videos, like pretty interesting.
Mhm.
And I was just experimenting, but my concept was like just music because I didn't want it to be all about you watching what I'm doing and not paying attention to the music.
Mhm.
So I didn't want to do anything completely like flashy or something distracting. I mean, I had some people look at my videos and then they instantly started like listening to the song rather than watching or viewing what I posted, which is like what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And at the same time, because you're like TikTok videos and TikTok are supposed to be, interesting or a video that someone would actually want to look at, I think I could have done better in that aspect.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that was one thing I remember about watching your series is it did really stand out to me as far as how you implemented your idea, because you very well could have like done something more, I guess, visually provocative with what you were doing, but that's not really the point. Like you were wanting to focus on the music and the sharing experience uh, with the music itself. Um, so I think that really worked with what you were trying to do. Uh, did you have in mind the whole time, like you just kind of wanted to, oh, apparently there's a 40-minute time limit on Zoom. What? You have to buy a license to record? What? I'm sorry, I'm just having a moment.
Not nice.
Wait, what?
What? There's a 40-minute time limit for the Zoom meetings.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I guess whenever time runs out, we can just come back in and start another meeting.
I guess
Um,
so.
and I'll just splice those two together. Anyway, sorry about that.
There you go.
But yeah, you were one of the few people that really used music as the focus instead of like kind of like a finishing touch. Like I know some people did that with their TikToks where they had something more visual based that they were using and they kind of just added in the music as like a thing to add in. But that was your primary focus. So I think the way that you handled that was really smart.
Yeah, because I remember seeing um a few of the TikToks and they had music in it, but I was solely focused on what they were trying to like put out there visually.
Mhm.
So the music didn't really come to me as like, oh, I know this song or like this song sounds nice. It
Right.
was just like, I see what you're doing and I want to keep seeing what else you do.
Right. I know that's what's cool, so cool to me about TikTok as a platform and like an app is it's so music based. Like I remember originally, if I remember correctly, I think it actually started out as a different app called Musically, which was literally just an application used for kids to do like lip sync edits to or to like make dances to certain songs and everything. And then as it evolved into TikTok, it became a lot more of a visually based app. Um, so it's interesting seeing how that's kind of changed. But there's been a ton of artists that I have discovered because of TikToks, like a ton of like sound based trends that have promoted songs that I end up adding to my playlist. And it's funny because I'll hear certain songs that people will play or have on their playlist and be like, oh, they use TikTok. Like I can tell because it'll be an actively trending song that's going on at some point. I remember one of my frustrations whenever I created an account was the inability to create your own sounds. Like they have sounds that they recommend for your videos based on the video itself, which I'm not sure how exactly they do that or what the algorithm does to choose that song based on what's happening in the video. Um, but there were times where I wanted to upload my own sound and it just wasn't available whenever you looked under the sound functions. And I remember trying to look into how to do it and it just wasn't a clear answer, which was super confusing to me as like an app that's so based in sound.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, we've got about 20 more minutes to talk about TikToks. So whatever y'all want to talk about. It doesn't even necessarily have to be about the series itself. It could just be, you know, your what like your reflection of like your experience with TikTok and like what you think now versus what you thought at the beginning before you had to kind of become a creator instead of just a consumer.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Are we still good on Zoom, or are we gonna get cut out?
We got about 6 minutes left. We gotta go. I'll give you guys like a minute warning before it cuts off. Um, but we'll just join back immediately after that.
Okay. I definitely say starting out as a creator, it's it's honestly made me more interested in becoming one.
Mhm.
Like as an artist, like when it came to what I wanted to do anyway, like what I wanted to do was basically animation and music and all that type of stuff. And unless you're on top and unless you're on top of that and keep on creating and doing and entertaining and such like that, you won't be getting anywhere. So actually getting an understanding of what it's kind of like, even if it's just being a content creator on TikTok, it's very interesting and it's making me look forward to making more of my own and in turn improving on what I've already made.
Mhm. Do you think you'll continue making content after this on the app, or like, do you have any ideas now that you've seen what people are doing?
On the app, if it is on the app, I definitely change almost everything that I did.
Right.
But if I were to use the app, I do have a good few ideas of what I would do. But most of the things that I would be doing would either be on YouTube, it would be on Instagram. I try to find TikTok is it is a very good app, but what I want to do, I don't see my content always being on there.
Right.
Or yeah.
Yeah, no, it's TikTok's an interesting app as far as creating content as an artist because I primarily used it to look at funny videos. And then as I, the For You page and the algorithm got more used to the kind of content I was creating, or like, I imagine how the algorithm works is it sees, what videos you like, uh, the connections between those videos and those creators and the type of content they make. And then one thing I have to like assume is part of the algorithm is how long you watch a certain video, or how long you watch a video before you skip that content. Which I'm like getting more used to how TikTok works. I can tell pretty quickly if I'm going to enjoy a video uh, or a different TikTok that I come across. And half the time I just end up skipping. It's kind of funny because I don't realize how insane I look, but I can really tell just based on like how the person's talking or like visually what's going on if there's going to be any pull to to me actually staying there and watching it for like at the most TikToks are like 3 minutes, but my attention span is garbage. Um, but I'll get called out on it. Like people will see me watching a TikTok and then skip it after like half a second and they're like, what, why'd you do that, like and it's like I really don't know how to explain it, but you just sort of, I guess, figure out what you like really quickly, and so does TikTok in a way. But it wasn't until I started watching some TikToks from artists specifically where either they were posting speed paints that they did, or just like progress videos, that I was like, oh yeah, you can like totally use this as a platform to post your art. It just didn't seem. I don't know why it didn't connect. Maybe it's just because of the content I was watching, and none of it was art until a certain point.
Hmm.
Um, but one thing that I've seen that really seems to work is artists almost making like a web series, not necessarily even a comic, but like essentially animatics. With series that they end up doing. Like one thing, I don't know if y'all are familiar with like ask blogs. Like people will usually uh, make content specifically with the intention to get audience engagement. Like they will get prompts from comments or replies that they get, and they'll make an entire video based off of that prompt. And that'll draw viewers to come back in. We do have less than a minute on this meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and end it, and then I'll start up another one and just click the invite link. It should still be good. All right, cool. Got it. All right. And then guess we'll just wait for Brendan to rejoin. We really don't have too much time left, but just about like 15 more minutes worth of content, and then we should be good.
Okay. Sorry. That was.
All good. Let's see. All right, I sent them a message. Yeah, I was worried at first because after I ended the meeting, the recording was getting converted.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh God, I hope it's not gonna like not let me make and record another meeting until it stops. I guess I feel like I've been kind of talking the most, and I want to give y'all like more room to sort of just discuss. So, please, like if there's anything on your mind. Okay, Brandon's not going to be able to join back, so I guess it's just me and you at this point.
Okay. How would you? I know that you said you've been talking this whole time and you want me to talk, but you asked me how I would be using this. How do you personally, if are you interested in using TikTok or anything
Yeah,
of the sort?
I am. I actually had started using TikTok for more content creation after I posted some of my art, and I didn't do anything fancy. I just sort of like picked a song and that I liked and just said, here's all of my recent art from like the past year or something. And it was like a 3-minute long video. And I just sort of spent a couple seconds on each piece, and there wasn't any, I didn't really speak over the actual video or do a voiceover or anything like that. I just sort of had the photos of my drawings and illustrations and stuff kind of change to the beat of the song. And it got a ton of interaction. So I was like, okay, we can keep doing this. It feels awkward to do like one video for one drawing if it's just like the finished product and not me showing like the progress or the setup that went into it or like a speed drawing or anything like that. So I don't think I'll use it for anything like that, but I think for like making animatics, it's super successful in just making like a quick, maybe like 15-second, 20-second loop of something based on songs, because that's something I've always wanted to do, is do like multimedia based illustrations, animations, that kind of thing. Animation is a little bit more daunting to me because of like the time commitment that goes into creating like a fully rendered piece. But storyboarding and animatics are a lot more attractive to me because I can get like the basic idea across, but still have it be kind of like rough and messy. Funny enough, I was playing around with the idea of doing a bit of an ask blog with some characters that I have, or maybe some original characters that people were interested. But as soon as I started to get some people interested and, starting to send me prompts or questions for drawings, things like that, I got super busy with class and with work. So my commitment kind of dwindled on that. And honestly, I don't know if I'll go back to doing that, but once I graduate or once I'm out of classes, I've only got this semester and one more semester after that. I think I'll definitely play around with it just as like a platform to post my stuff. Cause I mean, I use Twitter primarily. I don't really use Instagram that often. So it'd be cool I feel like Twitter and TikTok are the two apps that I use the most. So it makes sense for me to kind of like commit a bit more time and energy into posting content there as a creator. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just kind of like casually using it. And if I ever do post anything, it's nothing terribly high concept or complicated or anything like that. Usually I'll just see some certain trends that I'm like, and I'm like, oh, I can do that. And so I'll start pouring like maybe an hour or two into like editing a video for that, and then kind of wrap up. But it'd be cool to like do something more consistently on there, I think.
When you were going when you're going into animation and how it's very time consuming and such like that, have you ever thought about making like small animations and then once in a while making big ones when you have the time?
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually still working. It's actually been like 4 years conceptually in the process, but I have been working on a project for like a fictional band. Um, and I have character designs for that, and me and my partner are actually working on writing things for it more. I guess less conceptual and more like actually practicing and putting out content. But it's a little daunting because I want it to be a multimedia project where I actually create music with it, and I have zero experience with um, composition or understanding music theory or anything. Like I'm just a consumer and I enjoy music and I enjoy, using music with art, visual art. And so that's something that I definitely want to commit to. And I have like attempted at small animatics in the past, but I think whenever I'm done with being a full-time student, I'm 100% gonna pour like a lot of energy into that, whether it's just making like small music videos or concept videos or comics. I'm really interested in that kind of, I guess, content creation. Like I know there's a couple artists that come to mind that kind of inspire me with that sort of process. Like there's Jack Stauber, who's a musician and a artist who posts a lot of his videos on YouTube, and he does a lot of like claymation, traditional animation, but like primarily he is a musician. But sometimes he'll just do like these little like minute long bits of animation, and they're really, really charming. So I love the stuff that he does. I know he uses Patreon to fund a lot of his projects. And there's also another animator that comes to mind, Worthy Kids on YouTube. They'll do like these smaller, like 2 minute long animations. And their style is really memorable. And they actually started making music recently as well, to kind of go along with their own work, which was like a great surprise to come across. I love seeing artists that can kind of like bridge those two worlds and kind of make every step of the process their own. But I've actually been talking to a lot of musicians recently about their process with it, and kind of getting less scared about the whole idea, because it's just so daunting. But that's kind of where I am creatively. How about you?
Have you heard of an animator or just an artist in general called Robert Valley?
Robert Valley. I don't think so. Let me see.
So, do you know have you watched when you were young, did you watch Tron Uprising?
I know what you're talking
Disney?
about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I did not watch that, but I'm looking up this creator now, and their style is like super striking.
So he is an artist that primarily uses and teaches how to use Photoshop as for your animation. And his whole entire style and how he does everything, how it's 2D, but you can see the three dimension in everything that he animates. I love that.
Yeah, I'm seeing that he does some work on Love, Death, and Robots, which I watched a little bit of that, but there's that concept I really do love, like bridging the worlds of like 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional animation. Arcane is a really, really good series on Netflix. It's based on League of Legends, which is whatever. Like, I don't care about League, but it's a fantastic series, both visually and writing. And I'm definitely going to check this artist out, though. Thank you for recommending that.
Of course. Getting back to Arcane,
yeah.
The thing about me and the animation to that level is as an artist, I know that if I ever wanted to make something that amazing,
Mhm.
I would have to I would have to be either a part of a company. I
Mhm.
would either have to be part of a company or I'd have to know so many artists to be able to finish this.
Oh yeah, like
And
it's insane. Weirdly
mhm,
enough, Riot Games, like their games are what they are. I'm not personally a big fan of them. Some of my friends are, but any content that they have made outside of League has been like wildly impressive because they made Arcane and they've also done a series of music videos for bands actually kind of based on the characters in the games that they have. Like they have KDA, which is like a K-pop band, but it uses characters from League. They've got some really great music videos and like original music that they've produced, and that was like wildly successful. I know that they also did something similar with another group called True Damage, but that's kind of where they sort of flirted with the idea of doing, I think, more animation and like spin-off types of works with League, which
mhm.
I wish they kind of like poured an entire studio into that to just keep making content because it's really really good stuff. It's really impressive.
Mhm. Wow.
All right, yeah. Well, I think we did kind of go off topic of TikTok for a little bit, but I think Lee will, still enjoy um, art discussion in general.
Yeah.
Um, we've about reached the hour mark, so unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about, I guess we can go ahead and wrap up.
I think that's it, actually.
Okay, cool.
All
Um,
right.
we have like a list of people to keep an eye out for as far as content creation now that we have like the links to everybody's TikToks. I don't know who all will keep making content if they're interested or if it's just like a
Mhm.
requirement for the class for them, but uh now I have more people to keep an eye out for, which is really cool. All right, well, I
And
am gonna go ahead and stop the recording and splice everything together, but
thank,
thanks for
thank,
setting aside some time.
of course, thanks once again for
Yeah,
this and like doing all the recording and everything like that. Thank you so
yeah,
much.
yeah, no worries. All right, well, I'm gonna get headed out, but I guess I'll see you Tuesday.
All right. See you Tuesday.
All right, bye bye.